Welcome to my channel. Here's another lesson on occult science, esoteric knowledge. A lot of the information nowadays has been definitely coming out a lot more quickly than it was in 2012. And now people are starting to pick up on the ancient spiritual sciences that are the roots of all mythologies, religions, and paths. And today we're going to be discussing as above, so below, and how the goal of the entire cosmos is for, or the creator's plan is for each individual, male and female, soul to attain self-conscious immortality. Now, Jesus says, with patience you will possess your soul. Now, what does this mean? We were told that we already are a soul. We are a soul. We are a seed of the soul. Our monad, or our inner being, comes from the highest abodes, the most celestial, most subtle dynamics. And then when it's differentiated by angelic spiritual parents, male and female, mother and wisdom, then its goal is to take down the vortex, down all the kingdoms from the highest realms of the ether, vapor, energetic realms, water, earth. Now, earth being the physical realm, this realm being the only realm that we are physically capable to be in a material body of low velocity. Hence, we experience time going by slow. We experience a sense of mundanity to life. We hear, that the world is a place where a lot of our survival instincts are tested and learn how to respond to certain situations. But in each realm, the laws and velocities change. So when the soul from its highest point, more subtlest realm, comes into contact with low velocity or its negative counterpart, matter, it becomes entombed or crucified on a cross. So this death of the soul is actually, we are in the realm of the dead. So watch the first video I posted on this channel, and I explain how this is as far as you can go into death, being in the physical realm. So humans are actually the walking dead. Reason being is because they are the tomb that the inner Christ soul resurrects from and gains conscious immortality. But in order to do that, if we follow the alchemical formulas of the Judeo-Christian Bible, you have to go through these elements, because these elements are the sheaths or the functionalities of the deity, and they manifest in the same way, like our north, west, east, and south manifest the four cardinal directions. So spirit manifests, or the highest abode manifests the four elements: earth, air, water, fire, air, ether. And when we go to physical incarnation, and we go up from the highest, down from the highest forms, down to the mineral, plant, animal, and ethereal dimensions, we can talk about that more later, and then descending down into material incarnation, where in the rock kingdom, or mineral, also manifesting as gnomes, they experience the life of being solidified, more of a slumbered state. Then plants have a more higher consciousness, a more sense of feeling. In the animal kingdom, you learn instinct as well as love. And then in the human kingdom, you learn self-conscious love, self-conscious immortality, because then you understand exactly where you're going. Because from when you were differentiated from the Supreme, or from God, by the two wisdom and love angelic parents of your specific monad, then you were differentiated as an Adam and Eve, but before Eve was split. Once the soul was split, it descends. That physical body is thought of as a tomb because in the higher ethereal realms, life and activity and even personality is so unlimited that the physical body coming into contact with the physical realm puts a stop to that, and all things come to a stop. That stop, the entropy, is Earth. And we're encapsulated by a physical body. As you can see, the physical body contains the waters of life. So this liquid soul within the earth body has to be transmuted through the inner fire and light into gaseous spirit so that we can ascend and attain the upright pentagram. The upright pentagram being the ability that man has finally conquered self-conscious immortality and has attained self-conscious while in the physical realm. Because most people do not attain to this until the higher astral planes and then even the celestial. Man has one chance since being incarnated into the lower forms of life of earth, mineral, gnomes, sylphs, undines, lower elemental spirits, and now possesses self-conscious reason and the ability to self-reflect on himself. This self-consciousness, this inner seed, is the fire within, which is the inner part of us that's the sun on the outer side. As within, so without. The sun that we see in the sky is the outer symbol of this inner soul that evaporates the waters in our body. The waters in our body are our soul, and we must transmute it into spirit. Hence, John the Baptist says, the one that comes after I is more worthy, is not worthy to unbuckle my sandals, i.e. Pisces sandals being the feet. He says, the one that comes after me, I baptize you with water, but the one that comes after me baptizes you with fire and the Holy Spirit. Because we need to ascend from the earth to the water, to the fire, to the air. And this is a very patient alchemical process. And life, based on your thought atoms and your thought vibrations and your feelings and emotions and your actions, you attract the circumstances that help this process take place, with the end result being the solar body or the self-conscious immortality in the higher realms beyond the 7 astral planes. Once you're a physical human, you have had enough experience to transcend into the astral planes, but in the astral planes are still not perfect realms. They still have suffering, pleasure, pain, and they're still physical realms. It's just that they have higher velocities and there's less laws. For example, density doesn't apply there, hence you can float, teleport, transport. Here you have to wait for the bus. Here you have to drive to work. So in the astral plane, things are a bit different. And we're conscious of this because we can experiment with this ever since we were able to remember our first dream. So the spirit is always in a conscious creating mode. It's always creating these fields. The Purusha is the conscious, the witness, and it's always creating these separate fields. And it's always given circumstances to overcome entropy. So who is this frustrated looking figure here below the earth? That is the black satellite, which is the no to the yes of the sun. The sun says yes, the darkness says no. Entropy serves a purpose, because if that disintegration principle didn't happen, nature would not be able to recycle energy. And if humans didn't have free will to either strive to the highest points and they choose consciously to go downward, then the nature has a way to recycle them so that they are able to be renewed. But all humans have an opportunity to overcome the cross of the physical body and transcend into the higher realms with the solar body and living in peace and bliss. Notice how I put the entropy, then the physical plane earth, then we have the water, then we have the sun outside that vaporizes the water upward, north, towards the head. The head is ruled by Aries or Rama, the fire. And the ancients believed that the earth was created when all the planets were in conjunction in Aries, because Aries is the creative, pioneering spirit. It is the I am consciousness, whereas Taurus is I have. Gemini is I think. So this is how consciousness transforms itself on the way down. And this is how consciousness also transforms itself on the way up. Energy is always in a constant process of transformation. And we have to ignite the inner fire, which is the Christ, to evaporate the waters of the soul to be saved from the earth tomb, which is also a womb, because the mysteries of Isis are is that each human body is a womb in and of itself, because this is the first time you've ever had self-consciousness. This is the first time you've ever had a human mind. Man is glory. Animals are love, humans are glory. And then we attain to the higher velocities. Similar to the worm, doesn't understand the phase of cocoon, and by the time it's out of the cocoon, it finally understands. It looks at its last previous state as a worm and is able to appreciate the wings much more. Hence, man will once again gain his metaphorical, metaphysical wings in the higher velocity realms and be able to attain conscious self-mortality with using the virtues of patience, love, and wisdom, and igniting the inner fire through the powers of chastity, self-reflection, self-remembering, and having a devotional attitude to the most highest ideals that the human mind has been able to comprehend. Once that takes place, the soul is then able to consciously live on the higher planes, and even work never ends, because then your mission will be to assist those in the lower. One will never go, a true bodhisattva will never attain to the highest, or if they attain to the highest, they will always continue to dial down to the lower planes to liberate souls. Hence also the allegory of Christ going down into the underworld and liberating souls, or the denzians of the lower manifestations of the lower realms. See, Earth is not the lowest you could go. There are sub-pockets. Now, souls were just supposed to come here to gain conscious self-conscious immortality, but because everything has free will and everything has a personality and everything has consciousness, there has been denzians and negative entities that utilize the upper realms, i.e. us, because we're above those lower realms. And their idea is to, if they can conflict us or lower our energies or obstruct our free will, they can get into us and actually live vicariously through us. So this is why we always have to stay upright with the upright pentagram. The compass always points north, to always stay happy, to keep the clouds clear, to keep the mind in the spirit, and to keep the holy fire lit, or the inner lantern. And then you become an initiate of the flame, and you hold that cosmic wisdom, that eternal wisdom, and are able to orally transmit it to others and allow them to understand the mysteries of their being and know that life never ends. It's a sense of conscious, self-conscious, immortal progression, and nature doesn't like stagnation.